Now, at this point my application works, but it's not very convenient. Some fields are not calculated automatically. For instance, the latest work event has to be set manually. The time left and time spent on the sprint has to be set manually. So let's create a few rules to allow me to set these automatically. I would also like to name my work events automatically based on the date, so I don't have to set the name and date all the time. So I will start by creating the name rule on my work event. To do so, I will create a set name rule. And my set name rule has a single input and a single output. My output will be the name field. So I need to find the name field, drag it in the output, and rule input will be the date. Now I need to drag the date field to associate it. Now, in order to set the name, I will have to format that date into something that makes sense for a name. So I will just use a quick method that's in the Deduced library to format date. Next, I will enable my rule. And this is it. My rule has been enabled, and now all my work events have been automatically renamed based on the date I've set on them. Next, I would like to create a rule that will automatically set the latest work event on a task. So I will create a rule, set latest work event. This rule will have a single output. The output will be the latest work event. And this rule will also have 3 different inputs. The first input is the date of all the work events that I'm dealing with. Now, to associate this, I need to go in the list, go into each work event, and select the date. The next input will be the work event list. For this, I need to select the work event list and select every work event in that list. The next input will be the date instance that I want to record. So for this, I will need a static instance reference because I don't want it to change all the time. I want a field that will point me to the date instance of every work event that I will use to filter. Now, it looks like I've created one rule input too many, so I'll just delete it. Now, I need to set the code for my rule. So, the code will be to return the maximum collection of all the work event lists by using the date instance. All that's left is to enable the rule. And right now, if I go back to my model, I should have automatically the latest work event set as the latest work event link. And if I change the date of one of my work events, let's say that this one was on the 18th, but now I move it to be later. I want it to be on the 28th. It will automatically be changed on the task as the new link. Next, I will go to the sprint and create a few rules to calculate my time spent and time left. Now let's create a time spent rule. Sum time spent. For this rule, I will have a single output, which is the time spent, and I will have a single input, which is the time spent list. Now, to find the time spent, what I will need to do is go in the task list, go in every task, and in every task, select every work event list. and select every work event, and in every work event, select the time spent. So, task list, go in every task, go in every work event list, go in every work event, get the time spent. This will give me a list of all the time spent of all the work events in my sprint. Next, I will need to write the code for my list, which is return sum of time spent list. Apply, enable, and the rule is now enabled. So if I go back to my sprint, I can see the time that has been spent so far in the sprint. Next, I will create another rule to sum the time remaining. This rule will have a single output, which is the time remaining or time left, and it will have a single input, which is the list of all the time remaining of all the latest work events. To get these work events, I need to go in the task list, select every task. Now, instead of selecting every work event, I will select only the latest work event. And in every work event, I will select the time remaining. Next, I will need to write the code for my rule, which is relatively simple. Return the sum of time remaining list. Enable the rule, and we're done. Now my sprint tells me how much time is left and how much time has been spent, no matter how many updates I do. So if I update the time spent here to 30 hours and I update the time remaining here to 40, the sprint when values will automatically adjust. And this concludes the first part of the tutorial where I've created all the rules and the schema for my application.